Mr. President,
Democrat Leader.
I ask unanimous consent the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
So, Mr. President, last Friday, the courts spoke loudly. They spoke clearly. Donald Trump cannot block SNAP benefits and treat hungry Americans as political pawns. The stories from the weekend were shameful, sickening. People overwhelming food banks, handing out groceries in lieu of Halloween candy, teachers paying out of pocket to give their students extra food. Across America, appalling scenes were seen of people worried they wouldn't be able to feed their families and even themselves. This is appalling, and the courts did the right thing to step in to follow the law. But the Trump administration still refuses to fully comply. A few hours ago, the administration announced that it will provide only partial SNAP benefits to 42 million Americans facing food insecurity, even though the courts affirmed that the USDA has the transfer authority to ensure everyone can receive full benefits. Everyone can get full benefits. The only person standing in the way is Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Even after the courts have spoken, the administration continues to use kids, seniors, disabled Americans, and working parents as political pawns, dangling the threat of hunger over their heads. Providing partial benefits is not enough, is not compliant with the law, and it's particularly cruel of Trump with the Thanksgiving season around the corner. Let me say this, providing partial SNAP benefits is a floor and cannot be a ceiling. Let me repeat, providing partial SNAP benefits is a floor, not a ceiling. The administration must do more, and the courts should do everything they can to force this administration, cruel as it may be, manipulating hungry people as it is doing. The courts must make sure that full benefits are restored. Only Trump standing in the way. On open enrollment, Mr. President, it was a bitter, stressful weekend for millions of Americans, but you'd never guess it listening to Donald Trump. Let's start with open enrollment, which began Saturday. If you look at the papers this weekend, the phrase that everyone used was sticker shock. Sticker shock. While Donald Trump is bragging about remodeling bathrooms at the White House, Americans are panicking about how they will afford health care next year. I read an article from ABC News that interviewed a photographer from Utah who gets her health care through ACA. She will go from paying $495 a month, already outrageous, to $2,100 a month, an increase more than 4 times. It's more than a mortgage. And that is Donald Trump's America. Americans pay more for health care than they do on their mortgage. It's outrageous, and it just puts an anchor around the financial anchor around the ankles of every family. And what is Donald Trump doing in the middle of all this, this horrible sticker shock crisis that people are just feeling so awful about? Well, if you watched Donald Trump this weekend on 60 Minutes, you saw a president utterly dismissive of the pain his policies have caused working people. While people are paying more for everyday expenses, Donald Trump went on TV to insist that everything is fine. He claimed yet again that we have no inflation in this country. The only problem, that's a lie. Trump, talk to the average American and tell them they have no inflation as they're paying more for everything. Particularly this weekend, they learned how much more they're paying for health care. And inflation has accelerated, actually accelerated, since the start of Trump's trade war. Donald Trump also celebrated that grocery prices are going down. Which grocery store does he shop in? Probably none. But when Donald Trump celebrates that grocery prices are going down, it's a surprise to people who actually shop at grocery stores, because they're seeing prices go up and up and up. And when Donald Trump was asked what he's doing to end the shutdown, He said his usual nonsense, it's the other side's fault, utterly ridiculous. Donald Trump is the president. People look to him to negotiate, to fix problems. Finally, I will note this. Donald Trump was also asked several times what his plan is for fixing health care. And what was his answer? Pure gibberish, because he doesn't have a plan for health care. The only plan Republicans have for health care seems to be to eliminate it, and then to tell working people to go figure it out on their own. That's not a health care plan. That's cruel. But it's what Republicans have tried to do with health care for decades. We all remember the moment when John McCain rebuked his party to preserve it. Democrats have been very clear from the start. We need to lower people's health care costs. We need to reopen the government. We need to extend the ACA premium credits. That is what a majority of Americans want. Now on Omer Nutra, my late constituent from New York. Today is a bittersweet day of heartbreak and of relief. 2 deeply anguishing years after Hamas brutally murdered Nutra on October 7th. Finally, Omer Nutra's remains have been returned to Israel. Omer was a proud New Yorker, a Long Islander, a constituent of mine. I've met with his family many, many times since October 7th, and I've been so inspired by their courage, their strength, their resolve. Nothing will ever reverse the pain of losing their beloved son. Nothing will erase that pain. But after long last, Omer can now be laid to rest in a proper burial. May his memory be a blessing. Still today, the remains of 8 more hostages murdered by the brutal Hamas remain in captivity, including that of another New Yorker, Itai Chen. We will never stop working until every last hostage is home. I yield the floor.
You guys hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Please proceed to return around 6:30. We will be having a polling show in which we show polling and the direction the country is going. 6:30, we will be having a polling show where we show data and the polls and what they say and what they foretell for the near future. Hit the like button, subscribe button for this kind of content. Thank you.
Democratic Whip.
Mr. President, last week I came to the floor on Wednesday to tell the story of some high school kids in Chicago. They did a remarkable thing last Tuesday, 6 days ago. These kids live in a neighborhood known as Little Village, and they go to high school there, to some well-respected high schools, Little Village, Lawndale high schools. They decided on Tuesday to stage a parade in Little Village to protest what ICE is doing to that community and to the city of Chicago. It was peaceful, it was constructive. They marched several blocks, carried copies of the Constitution with them, American flags, Mexican flags, signs that they had prepared. I remember one, I'm going to misstate exactly what it said, but it basically said, our parents have done so much to protect us. Now we're going to do everything we can to protect them. I went on Friday to meet with these students. Turned out they were all girls, all women, Latina students. Some reason or another, the boys didn't get into the organization, though they did participate in the parade. These young women, about 15 of them, sat with me in a room and we talked for over an hour about their deepest personal and emotional feelings about what was happening to their families and what they did to stage this parade. Mr. President, I've been to a lot of meetings with a lot of so-called experts on this country and its future, but I learned more in that hour at that high school with those girls, those young women, than in many of those other meetings. They knew exactly what they were doing was dangerous. Their parents had warned them not to stage a parade because the ICE agents had been in the neighborhood in the previous 2 weeks. But they were determined to do something and say something. Most of them were in tears as they talked to me about what they felt personally about this experience. One of the leaders said, I'm an American. I was born here. I love this country and I want to be part of it. Look what it's doing to our families. And another young woman broke down when she said that right before the parade happened, her father had been detained. She said in tears over and over again, my father is not a criminal. Her father's been involved for 7 years to try to get his citizenship status cleared up. He's been back and forth in court. He was in the process of doing this when he was detained and has been spirited off somewhere, we don't know. I thought of that experience and what those young girls had been through. And I thought about the courage they showed, their love of this country, their determination to be part of it, but their love of their family and their willingness to risk everything for their parents. That's the reality of life in Chicago and many neighborhoods today. When President Trump announced publicly that he was going to send in the military if necessary, but the ICE forces to go through Chicago, he said he was looking for rapists and murderers and terrorists and the criminally insane. He says it over and over again. Well, guess who he's arresting? Guess who they're detaining? They have yet to report one rapist, murderer, terrorist. They're taking people, they're taking the man that sells the tamales on the corner. I'm not kidding. A man who, for 75-year-old man, who sells what they call elote, which are corn cobs that they steam and are very popular in the community. Rapists, murderers, terrorists, criminally insane? No. Some of them are clearly out of status in their citizenship papers. Some are American citizens. Of all the people that they arrested and detained, 70% of them have no criminal record. No criminal record, and yet they're being harassed. And they picked the weekend to do that, this last weekend, which is so special to so many American families. I think if I had to pin my wife down on her favorite holiday, it would be Halloween. She loves it. She gets these big bowls of candy, and the kids come from everywhere in our neighborhood in Springfield. And they did just this last Friday. I'm sure many of us had a similar experience. The kids are so excited to get free candy and show off their costumes, and she greets every one of them like they're her grandkids. It's a personal thing. We were worried about this last Halloween weekend in Chicago because of the ICE forces that were roaming the streets. Governor Pritzker asked for a special favor. He asked the ICE agents to take off Halloween night, spare the kids, don't make them worry about whether they go out for candy, whether somebody's going to be arrested. I joined him in that plea. I thought it was common sense. You know what happened? Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary of DHS, said, by no way, by no means, we're going out if necessary. And they did. The ICE agents went to Evanston, which is a town just north of the city of Chicago, and an incident occurred there which was incredible. The ICE agents were roaming through the town looking for landscape workers. Well, guess what's going on? Those landscape workers are raking leaves. and they're doing their work that they do every year. We count on them to do. And this year, ICE was going to arrest them, and they did. Terrible things happened, too. There's a long story. I ask unanimous consent that this story from the Chicago Tribune be entered into the record at this point. Thank you, Mr. President. When you read this article, you realize what is happening here. These ICE agents, whom Kristi Noem calls her dream team, have completely ignored the Constitution when it comes to due process. They are snatching up people right and left. Who are their targets? The Hispanic population, for sure, or anyone who looks Hispanic, or anyone who lives in a Hispanic neighborhood, or anyone who stands on a street corner with a whistle to try to warn off people that the ICE agents are coming. And certainly those who are in the occupations normally filled by immigrants, like landscape workers. Those are the targets. This is a racist effort. I use that word advisedly. It is a racist effort. It is not about terrorists and murderers and rapists. It's about people with an accent, people who look like they're Hispanic. Well, that's what happened in the city of Evanston. And as their vans, unmarked vans, roam through the neighborhoods, these masked secret police of the efforts in the immigration agencies were roaming through the neighborhoods looking for anyone who appeared to be Spanish. And that's what they did. I want to read a statement. They pulled over a man, certainly not Spanish. His name is Morgan Krupinski, part of the great Polish population in the city of Chicago. Listen to what he had to say after he watched the ICE agents go through his neighborhood in Skokie. Skokie resident Morgan Krupinski said 2 workers from an American company were detained. The Scottish Plumber was the name of the company, were doing flood control work on his property in the 8300 block of Harding Avenue. When federal agents' vehicles came down the resident workers, who were able to produce evidence that they were in fact U.S. citizens. I'm angry, said Krupinski, who identified himself as a Republican and a conservative. As someone who believes in the Constitution, he said, for someone to be stopped by federal agents because of the color of their skin and their appearance, and to be asked for papers is completely unimaginable and completely unconstitutional. Because where is probable cause? Where is reasonable search and seizure? They're working in a residential neighborhood. And then he said, as someone who voted for this president, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for people to be harassed. I didn't vote for people to be brought out at gunpoint with machine guns and to harass Americans. That's in the article that I put in the record. So I say to my Republican friends, if you think you're winning in the popular vote with this approach, think twice. This is not American. This is not necessary. This is intimidation. An intimidation felt by a high school in a little village in Chicago, an intimidation felt by a suburb north of Chicago, which is not usually characterized as Hispanic in nature. But they were going after the workers who were raking the leaves. It's really an amazing experience, historical experience, constitutional experience that we're facing. And it's one that we won't soon forget. And as I reflect on going back every weekend and seeing further evidence of this travesty, I think, bottom line, there are good stories coming out of this as well. Neighbors who finally gather together with their neighbors in the neighborhood and stand up for those who are being harassed by ICE and its agencies. There's another thing that's going on too, Mr. President, that seems to be totally unrelated, but I want to call it out. If you're looking for a kosher delicatessen in Chicago, let me tell you my favorite, Manny's. It's right off Roosevelt Road in downtown Chicago. The Raskin family's owned this deli for many years, 80 in fact. And Danny Raskin, grandson of the founder of the delicatessen, is running it today. He's a wonderful young businessman. He's struggling with the impact of the trade war and the impact of increasing costs for the basic products he sells. But you won't find a better pastrami sandwich or corned beef or latke or kreplach soup anywhere in America. Danny's is one of the best. Why do I bring in this advertisement for Danny Raskin? I want to tell you why. Manny's Deli, located right by the University of Illinois at Chicago, has been a legend in the community for 8 decades. If you walk into Manny's, you'll see a microcosm of the city of Chicago. People from everywhere, every kind of background, joined together over a fondness for his hearty portions and delicious sandwiches. Manny's has been a staple of this community, and today they announced they will provide free meals for those on SNAP. Free meals. Why has Manny's found it necessary to feed those on SNAP? Because President Trump became the first president in history to deliberately disrupt the processing of November SNAP benefits, jeopardizing 42 million Americans' food security. Although the Department of Agriculture was told by 2 federal courts that they had the authority to fully fund SNAP, today they announced they'll only pay half of November benefits. That is going to cause a real hardship to the millions of Americans who count on what used to be known as the food stamp program. Thankfully, Manny's Delicatessen in Chicago is willing to do what the Trump administration is not, working to make sure that nobody in their city goes hungry. They're going to offer a sandwich, a potato pancake, and some dessert to these people who come in with SNAP cards. I'm grateful to the great staff at Manny's and their owner, Danny Raskin, for their generosity as SNAP payments are cut under President Trump. And Manny's isn't the only restaurant in the city of Chicago helping those on SNAP. It's one among many stepping up across Chicago to make sure that Illinoisans don't go hungry. Taza Italian Ristorante, Wooden Paddle, and one of the better pizza places, Lou Malnati's. Other restaurants as well are offering SNAP recipients free or discounted lunch during the month of November. I'm grateful for their assistance as Chicagoans face the reality of President Trump's cruel SNAP cuts. And I hope we here in Washington will learn from the kindness demonstrated by these restaurants and that they will work as hard as they do to feed and keep America safe. Let me just add in closing, there's another man involved in this story, and I want to mention his name. It's Wayne Gordon. Wayne Gordon was a minister of Lawndale Christian Church for over 40 years. He graduated from Wheaton College, went into the ministry after he had coached basketball at Farragut High School, and started the church in the Lawndale section, a poor, largely black section of Chicago. But he and his wife moved there 40 years ago and still live there to this day. They started Lawndale Christian. He is an evangelical minister who prays for me every day, thank goodness, and I try to return the favor. But I'm sure he was the mentor that Danny Raskin mentioned as his inspiration for providing this food. Hats off to Coach Wayne Gordon and Danny Raskin for this amazing display of caring at a time when it's needed more than ever. Let me close by saying this, Mr. President. We can solve this problem in the Senate, and we can do it this week. There is no excuse. The president is back from his trip overseas. The House can be called into session and return, and they should be, sooner rather than later. And we can sit down and work out the problem of what to do with skyrocketing health insurance premiums. Let me tell you what I've been told by the Illinois Department of Insurance. They told me that hospital insurance premiums are going to double in the northern part of our state near Chicago and triple in the rural small town sections downstate. Triple the current level of health insurance premiums. How in the world will a family struggling to get by paycheck to paycheck manage that? That's a legitimate question. My Republican friends should join me in asking that question. And they should go beyond these vague references the president made last night on 60 Minutes about we have some ideas. I've heard that for years now, and we don't know what those ideas are. What we should do is sit down and work together to solve both problems. Open up the government, which we can do when we reach an agreement, and we can, of going forward on health costs that are going to make 24 million Americans lose their health insurance. We all should share feelings about the families that are struggling with this, both things, and we can do it if we work together. Drop the fanfare, close the door, find a table, invite the president and the leaders, Republican and Democrat. Get it done this week. We can do it. I believe we can if we have the will to do it. I hope some people will step up on the other side of the aisle and join in this bipartisan effort. It's the only way to end this government shutdown. I yield the floor.
President.
Senator from Texas.
Mr. President, I'd ask unanimous consent to waive the mandatory quorum call with respect to the tongue nomination.
Without objection.
Mr. President, we are now over a month into a shutdown caused by the refusal of Senate Democrats to vote for a short-term stopgap spending bill that expires November the 21st. So much time has passed that we're now only 3 weeks out from that new deadline, even if they were to vote to pass this short-term funding bill that's passed the House of Representatives. This cannot be explained by logic or reason. This can only be explained by politics and by the Democratic leader's desire to keep his job and to survive in the next election. Because he's afraid of his own political party and that they will throw him overboard if he were to agree to a short-term stopgap spending bill, which we did 13 times when President Biden was in office. But we're also hearing that they want us to negotiate the expiring Biden COVID-era subsidies for the Obamacare exchanges. And since they want to talk about that, I would just reiterate what President Trump has said, what Speaker Johnson said, what the majority leader of the Senate has said. We're happy to talk about anything and everything you want to talk about once you reopen the government. But since Democrats brought it up, and since they still insist on keeping the government shut down, endangering people flying, causing enormous inconvenience at the International Bush Airport in Houston, there's a 3-hour wait for people to get simply through the security line at TSA. We know 42 million people have been denied access to supplemental nutrition, some of the most vulnerable people in our country. And we know federal government employees are not being paid, even though they are obviously working. I have not heard a single Senate Democrat saying, well, I'm going to withhold my pay during this shutdown, as those of us on this side of the aisle have done, including yours truly. So presumably they'd continue to get paid while everybody else is not being paid, and why enormous numbers of the most vulnerable of our population who depend on supplemental nutrition for food on the table are being denied that relief, all because they are afraid to deal with the politics associated with simply passing a short-term stopgap spending bill. But they also say they want this conversation to be about health insurance. And since they want to talk about Obamacare, I figured I would oblige them. Now, we know health insurance rates have certainly continued to go up. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that the cost of a family health insurance plan in 2025 is nearly $27,000. If you're on one of the 16 million people on the Affordable Care Act exchanges, your premium is scheduled to go up 18% next year. 18%. At the same time, if you're on an employer-provided insurance plan, premiums will go up roughly 6 or 7%. 6 or 7% versus 18%. Well, there must be a good reason for that astronomical figure for the Obamacare plans, and I plan on mentioning a few reasons why that is so. Well, employers are paying for much of the health insurance premiums for their employees, but the increased cost eats away at the budget they have to pay wages and other benefits. So employee salaries will become stagnant as employers have to pay more each year for health insurance.
I'm still waiting on any of you Republicans or you MAGAs to put in the chat what Donald Trump has done for you with the big beautiful bill. Please put it in the chat what the big beautiful bill did for you. Please and thank you.
They did. So clearly the rising costs of health care and health insurance is a problem for individuals and employers. But a fair question is, how did we get here? Well, the first place we have to look is Obamacare, popularly known as the Affordable Care Act. The fact of the matter is, it is the Unaffordable Care Act. When President Obama signed this highly controversial signature health care plan into policy, he promised that it would make health insurance affordable for the American people. In 2016, in a speech to students in Florida, President Obama said, "The Affordable Care Act has done what it was designed to do. It gave us affordable health care." Now, 15 years later, this claim has aged like spoiled milk. Since 2013, the year before Obamacare took effect, the average Obamacare...
Darlene, they're arguing over a program that the Democrats started. The Democrats started the Social Security, the SNAP, the Section 8, the EBT. The Democrats started all of those things. I'm asking you, what did your party do for the people? What did your party do? And by the way, I need you all to put in the chat what the big beautiful bill did for you. Besides give your money to the rich people. That's amazing. The poor people gave a rich man their money so they could give it to other rich people. Make it make sense.
Health insurance on the private market faced 143% increases in their health care premiums. And this number does not account for all the Americans who kept their plans but faced increased premiums or less comprehensive coverage. President Obama knew, but he refused to say, that for many people, even though this new health care law claimed to make health care affordable, it did just the opposite.
You didn't hear what I said, Pam? Didn't you hear what I said? What do you think they're arguing over, Pam? They're arguing over a program that the Democrats put into place. SNAP, Section 8, Medicaid, Medicare. Democratic Party did those things. I'm asking you, what did your party do? What did your party do?
For 2013, President Obama said that, quote, if you
Yes, welfare to the rich. Exactly, Charles.
A political fact-checking site called that the lie of the year. But we know how the story has ended. By the fall of 2013, 4 million Americans received letters informing them that their then existing health care plan would be canceled.
Oh, by the way, a fun fact, the Republicans have never approved of any medical benefits to the poor at all. They've never said yes to anything related to medical for the poor. Not on Medicaid, not on ACA. Not one vote came from the Republicans. They don't want you to have anything. They don't want you to have food stamps. They don't want you to have ACA. They don't want you to have Obamacare. They just want you to starve and die without insurance. That's what they want. They haven't done anything for the poor people. And yet you love it.
Obamacare did not make health care affordable. It created a tangled web of regulations alongside of taxpayer-funded subsidies that ultimately only led to higher costs for taxpayers and those receiving care. The only party that stood to gain the benefit from the Obamacare chaos was the health insurance companies themselves. They've enjoyed a windfall as a result of Obamacare. By now, insurance companies have figured out how to use this muddled mess, that is the Democrats' health care system, to lobby for government subsidies, including the continuation of the expiring COVID-19 era subsidies.
It's okay, Natural. Ponce is embarrassed about his party. His party wants people to starve. His party hasn't done anything for the middle class. I understand why he's upset. And I understand why Pamela's upset. Your party stands for nothing. Please put in the chat what the big beautiful bill has done for you all. Please put in the chat. I want to see that as soon as possible, please, and thank you.
More than $130 billion. That's your tax dollars paid to insurance companies. $130 billion in 2025 alone. In some cases, these subsidies pay for phantom enrollees who are likely not even to know that they are covered by one of these policies. In 2024, there were approximately 12 million Affordable Care Act Marketplace enrollees who made zero medical claims, a highly unusual circumstance. 12 million, no claims. Roughly 40% of those fully subsidized by the Biden-era COVID credits made zero claims, meaning that these insurance companies received these very generous subsidies but incurred zero costs. Since 2021, the cost taxpayers have incurred to subsidize Obamacare plans has increased a staggering 150%. And many of the ones on these policies are far from the most vulnerable in our population. In 2021, when the Democrats lifted the cap on these subsidies, removing the income eligibility limit, households earning upwards of $500,000 were made eligible for taxpayer-subsidized plans. So you tell me why taxpayers should have to subsidize somebody who makes $500,000 a year and buy their health insurance policy for them. These increasingly expanded subsidies for high earners proves a point that was perhaps the only promise that Obamacare actually kept, that the Affordable Care Act was just the first step toward a taxpayer-funded health care system, a single-payer system. Back in 2016, President Obama compared his signature law to a starter home that would later be upgraded into one that would be much bigger. But based on the way the law actually worked, It's clear that expanding it is not going to make people better off, just the contrary. So here we are in 2026, and what happened? Are we living in a utopia where health care is free or suddenly affordable? Well, just the opposite. Health care is now more expensive than ever, with analysts warning that increased costs will continue to eat away at workers' paychecks. Millions of Americans have faced cancer.
Well, do know that the Republicans put your medical bill back on your credit report, right? They voted to put that, since they're in the majority, they voted for your medical bills to go back on your credit report. They've never voted for anything medical. They don't want you to have medical. They just want you to die in the street. Hit the hospital. That's what they want. They've never voted for anything that relates to the middle class. Only the rich. And you're delusional if you ever think that party cares about the common man.
And not trust those who would prefer we continue to prop up a failed system that enriches insurance companies while leaving Americans to pick up the pieces.
I definitely need y'all to come back at 6:30 so we can give you the polls and we can give you the bad news, MAGA. We got to give you the bad news come 6:30. Unfortunately, we got to give you some bad news. And Democrats is looking good. It's looking up. It's looking up. People are really getting tired. People are really getting tired of this party and the president. Things are very much looking up. Donald, wait a minute, what is it? Donald Trump's approval rating, 37%. 37%. Wow. Go ahead, vote red. You'll be MAGA. We get you, MAGA people. You MAGA people are cool. Go ahead on over there, MAGA people. Go on over there and vote for red. Go ahead. Sit right in that boat and don't get anything done. Sit right in that boat and don't get anything done. As usual, I have 10 different polls. I don't think 10 different polls are all lying. I don't think so. You want all 10 to be lying, but I don't think so. Unfortunately for you, I don't think so. 10 different polls, and all 10 are fake polls, and all 10 say the same thing damn near. Unfortunately for you, it says there's going to be a blue wave soon enough. But that's okay. I have sympathy. I got it. You all, I got it. Oh, I'm sorry. Can somebody put in the chat 3 lies that Donald Trump has told you all? Can somebody put 3 lies in the chat that Donald Trump has told? I'd love to see that. Because I keep seeing a whole bunch of stuff about Biden and Obama. I want to see 3 lies that Donald Trump told. Can somebody give me 3 lies that Donald Trump told? No, 3 lies that he told. Come on. I'm waiting for the 3 lies. No. I'm talking to whoever's listening. I need 3 lies that Donald Trump has told. People keep saying that Obama lied and Biden lied. Okay, fine, and maybe they lied. I want to know 3 lies that Donald Trump told. If you could put it in the chat, please. On top of putting in the chat what the big beautiful bill did for you. What did the big beautiful bill do for you? And don't tell me they did tax cuts, because you're not getting any more money than what you're getting now. That's it. You're not getting any more money. It's okay. I'm happy today because polls came out today. I am happy today. I am happy today because polls came out and the tide has turned. Yeah, you can support him. Support your president. Support your president. I'm happy that you supported your president. I'm happy. He had a good run. He's a shitty president. But I mean, we got to have a president, so he might as well be shitty, right? And this one definitely is shitty. Okay. The big beautiful bill. Yes, I need you to put in that bill. What? There ain't no taxes on overtime. What are you talking about? Taxes on overtime. Are you serious? You look like you're wearing a suit, J Day. Stop lying to them people. What do you mean taxes on overtime? Ain't put no more money in your pocket. So J Day, let's do the math. If the food is going up by average of $25, $30 every month, by the time you get to your taxes, that's going to be about $300-$400 that you've been paying for food. And so when you get this supposed tax return money, you're not really going to get any money. That's what they were waiting on. That's how they hooked you MAGAs. That's how they hooked you. Saying, hey, wait till the end of the year and get your money. By the time you get your money, it's not really getting any money. It's already been evaporated by the high food prices. Everybody needs to go to work. They shouldn't even be in here. I done been to work and I done came home. I done did my job and I done came home. So here it is. I'm listening. Hey, just because you don't like Trump don't mean that we don't work. I mean, that's what they seem to think. They seem to think that. They just mad. Don't be mad at them, natural. They gotta, it's like circling the drain. Circling the drain. They just gotta admit that their president has done some shitty work. His poll numbers are in the toilet. In the toilet. Boy, I had never had so much good news for the past 3 weeks. It's been crappy. Him over there tearing down the White House. Him over there doing what he pleases. Starting a war in Venezuela. Just all of those things. And then I got the good news. That the tide has totally turned. The tide has totally turned. I was happy when I got that news. I was happy because they did. My buddies did a whole show on it. Yeah, okay, little Southern patriot. I'm backwards, okay. See, here's the beautiful part about this. This is the beautiful part, and you only gotta do it yourself. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do is go and look up the stats and look up the polls yourself. You don't have to listen to me. That's all you gotta do is look up what the polls are. Go to Fox News. Go to Independent News. Go to Newsmax. Go to all of those places and get the polls that I got. Because they all say the same thing. Why is everybody mad at me? Why you mad at me? Because the polls are saying that your party is going down the tubes. Why you mad at me? They mad at me because I'm just telling the truth. Of course, I got 10 different polls, Knowles. 10 different polls. And you saying they tainted. Are we serious right now? Not all 10 are tainted, but all 10 of them say your president is underwater. All 10 of them say the tide is turned on your Republicans. All 10 do say that though. But they all lying though. All 10 polls are lying. Are we serious right now? Are we serious right now? No, we just don't have no message. We don't have no message and we don't have no leader. That's all. We just don't have no message, no leader. When we get a message and we get a leader, it's going to be all over for you guys, because we definitely, the country definitely says they don't want your message. The country definitely says they don't want what you're selling. They witness what you're selling right here. They're witnessing what you guys are selling right here. Your party rather people starve than give them food stamps. Your party gave rich people money. And now you're letting the poor people starve. The world is seeing that. The world is saying that your party would rather people starve. What they see is my party rather you not get your food, your medical raised, your medical premiums raised in the long term. That's what they see my party doing. They'd rather have health care than food stamps. But they see your party and they know your party won't release the food stamps. They know that. So your party would rather people starve. And everybody sees that. Everybody sees that. And everybody sees it, and it's in the polling. So come back at 6:30, and I got some polling for you. I got some polling that I want to show you. All those fake polls, I got 10 polls that show you that the tide has turned for real, for real. Nah, this ain't no comedy skit. I wish it was, Leona. I wish we were in the Matrix, because we can get out of it and we would not be dealing with the shitty president. But unfortunately, we're dealing with the shitty president, and we're dealing with the hand that God gave us. Okay? We just got to deal with the shitty hand that God gave us. And God gave us a shitty president. This is what it is. It ain't no comedy skit. I wish it was. I wish it was. But it's not. You are in no position to vote. You can't even run your own life right. Whoa. Wow. Obama was a better president than you ever could have thought you would have. You know the biggest shift in people that voted last year? It was young, black, impressionable zombie black boys. It was the young zombie black boys like Torn Harris, 18 to 26. Those were the biggest shift in voting, were the zombie boys, black boys, 18 to 20. And you know where they got their information? They got their information from the internet. And older black zombies who told lies about what they experienced with the Democratic Party. That was the biggest shift. But that's okay. It's okay. We're waking people up. We are waking people up. And people are woke up and they have decided they don't like what's going on. So they're going to vote against it. And specifically, why did you think the brown people, the Hispanic people, why did y'all think the Hispanic people were going to Why did you think the Hispanic people were going to stick around after you started dragging them out of the houses, dragging them out of their cars, dragging them off their job? Did you really think those people were going to stick around and say, oh no, I'm going to vote Republican next year. I'm going to vote for the same thing. You really thought they were going to vote for the same thing? You really thought that? Wow. You MAGA better get on. No, you don't have to get on board. Stay over there. Stay over there and go into the drowning ship. And the serious part, the worst part is the bulk of MAGA is on food stamps. What? Make it make sense to y'all. Make it make sense. Are you kidding me right now? And you can't see that the Republicans don't want to give y'all. The Republicans cut food stamps and they cut Medicaid in the big beautiful bill. They don't want you to have the big beautiful bill. They don't want you to have food stamp. They don't want you to have the Medicaid or the Medicare. What the hell is wrong with y'all? What the hell is wrong with y'all? Zombies, the lot of you. Zombies. You guys are the bulk of the people that are on food stamps. And what is it? The Republicans voted to cut food stamps and cut Medicaid and Medicare. Are you wild? Are y'all wild? Are you wild? This is the biggest group of people I ever met that voted against their own interest. Against their own interest. That's wild. That's wild. You voted against your own interest. That's wild. And then on top of that, I never understood why the Hispanic community voted against it. How do you self-deport? How do you deport yourself? It's wild. No, I want them to start thinking. When they come over here, they can't just say zombie stuff. They have to prove what they're saying. See, I could prove everything I'm saying. I want to see the proof. I want to see the proof in the chat. I want to see what the big beautiful bill did for these people. Please don't say tax on tips. Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Give me something else. Y'all can do better than that. Give me something else. Because when you say tax on tips, then I know you haven't done any research. Stop it, Torn Harris. The top 10 cities that are out of control, 7 of them are red states where Republicans are. Stop it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Add you to what string? That's facts, Demetrius. That's facts. He lies all the time, and they believe it. So I'm just trying to give you a little truth serum. I'm trying to give you a little truth serum, but I can't. Who runs what cities? The top 10 cities that have violence and crime and murder rates, 7 of them are Republican-led states. 7 of them are Jeez, I don't have to prove that's a lie. That's all you got to do is look it up, bro. Jesus. The minute I say a fact, you telling me I'm lying. You want to talk? You want to come up? Here. Anybody want to come up? Come on up. Talk. Come right on up and talk. There you go. There's the link. There's the link. Come on up and talk. What you want to talk? What you want to say? I've spoken many facts, Torn Harris. That's all you got to do is listen to what I say, put your thinking cap on, and then go look up what I say and prove me wrong. 7 out of the 10 of the highest rates of crime are in Republican states. Stop it. And Chicago, and I don't see Portland or Chicago nowhere. Stop it. Go look it up. Instead of saying I'm a liar, you go look it up. Wow. No, they don't. I'm trying to give you facts. I'm trying to give you facts. The top 10 cities or states with high crime in them, 7 of them are red Republican states. Look it up. Look it up. New Mexico, Oklahoma, Alabama. I just put it in the chat. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me pin it to the top. If I could pin such a thing to the, I don't know how to pin it to the top. Let me do it again. Here it is. Look for the post. Look for the post. There's the post right there. Look for the post. Illinois ain't on that. Illinois ain't in the top 10. Okay. Illinois ain't even in the top 10. Your president is lying to you. Your president, and you believe him. You believe everything he says. Just wild that nobody has any pushback for this line. No, any pushback. Hold on, here we go. Copy. I thought somebody was coming up to give me. Here we go. Top 10. We got New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas. We got Tennessee. I don't even know how to spell. Arkansas, Mississippi, South Carolina, Mississippi, South Carolina, Louisiana, Louisiana. No. Don't talk about Democrat, this, that, and the third. Your government, your state is ran. Then you doing something wrong. If you doing something wrong. If you on a phone, you might have to copy it down, do a screenshot, copy it down, and then paste it in something else. Okay. But all of those cities, all of those states. Don't put in there. Don't put in there that it's Democratic cities now. These are states. Y'all wasn't worried about Illinois when he said he was going to Illinois, Chicago. You wasn't saying nothing about that. Okay, you wasn't saying about Democrat or Republican. You were just talking about Chicago and Portland. These are states. Okay. These are states. Grow up, Nathan. Please grow up. Please grow up. Please grow up. So why did you run your ass all the way to Illinois? If Illinois ain't even on the list, why would the president need to run all the way to Illinois when Illinois ain't even in the top 10? Okay? Because he didn't want to go to the red states that have the highest rates. The highest rate. That's the whole point, user. I just gave you 10 of the high. I don't agree with HQ, but I like. Oh, I don't need. That's the whole point. I don't need to prove it. That's all you got to do is look it up. Worst crime states. What are the top 10 worst crime states? That's all you got to do. I don't have to prove anything. Wild. Hey, G Honda. Jeez. I don't have to prove anything. You have to prove your own. And Nathan, hey, calling me a tard is better than being called a zombie, which you are. You're a zombie because that's all you do is open your mouth, pull your tongue out, close your eyes, and follow whoever's ass you can smell. You're a zombie. It should be very easy to get on up to this. It should be very to get on stage. I dropped the link. For whoever wants to come up and whoever has stats other than what I'm talking about. Okay. That's all you got to do. That's all y'all got to do is look at your own stats. Disprove what I said. That's wild. You'd rather sit here and tell me I'm the liar instead of you going to get the facts and then throwing the facts in my face. Okay? You know what a zombie is, J-Day? Do you know what a zombie is? Okay? You know what a zombie is, then you know it's apropos. Okay? You know what that is. Okay? I don't need to explain it to you. You understand what that means. Zombie means you follow everything someone says to you without doing any kind of research. I said this at the beginning. Do your research. Bring the research and throw it back in my face and say, HQ, you're lying and here's the proof. I haven't seen one of you do that yet. No, you haven't, because I don't see any evidence from what you're talking about. Credit score is directly related to IQ. Oh, Lord have mercy. No, I reposted the link. They don't have any facts. So if they don't have any facts, they're not going to come up here. They don't have any facts because they don't know how to research. They don't have to figure none of that out. They don't want to figure anything out. They just want to talk. They just want to talk. They just want to call names. Okay? They just want to call names. They don't want to have anything. They don't want to have any. Jeez. The worst crime rates were from the places that I said. The worst crime. I haven't gone anywhere, and you want no. I didn't call anybody name except zombie. That's wild. That not one person has come up with any kind of any kind of facts to dispute what I said. I don't care if y'all get mad. I don't care if you get mad for being called a zombie. You shouldn't be a zombie. You shouldn't exhibit zombie behavior. Zombie behavior means you're not taking the time to do research. You're just talking. Okay? You're supposed to be doing research, and then you're supposed to throw that research in my face and say, here, HQ, this is the truth. This is the real stuff right here. Now I got to deal with somebody named Jay Jones's Texas. I don't even know who Jay Jones is. I don't even know who that is. Wait a minute, hold up. That's the lieutenant governor in Virginia? Well, what am I supposed to say about Jay Jones' text messages? The violent rhetoric that he spewed out of his mouth? What am I supposed to say? I don't need to condone that person. I don't know that person. Don't know what they said. Don't care what he said. We concern ourselves about the governor of Virginia. The lieutenant governor is a spare. And besides, he probably gonna lose. So who cares who he is? Who cares? Why do people keep bringing that up? Like, who cares? That's wild. You bring up Jay Jones like Jay Jones is like what? Who is Jay Jones? Who cares? Who cares who he is? That's wild to me. He's running for AG, not he's. I don't know who he's running. I don't know where he's running for. I don't know who Jay Jones is. I don't care who he is. Who cares who he is? I'm not in Virginia. That's for y'all to care about. If you in Virginia, that's wild. But do your thing with Jay Jones, okay? Do your thing with Jay Jones. If you feel as though Jay Jones is worth the conversation, okay, fine. He's worth the conversation. But I think it's about some text. But I don't care about him and his text. Anybody who would do that is a degenerate. And I get that. I do. Okay? I do. I don't expect to do research while I'm having a stream. That is just not possible. Okay? But I haven't seen you do any research, Nathan. I haven't seen you bring up anything that might dispute what I said. Oh, I forgot. I need you all to put into the chat what the big beautiful bill did for people between the salaries of $30,000 and $150,000. I need you to put that in the chat. I'm gonna need you to put that in the chat because I want to know why everybody going so hard for the man who took your money, and gave it to other rich men. I need to know what type people go so hard for a man who gave their money to another whole bunch of rich men. I just want to know. Put it in the chat what he did. Nathan, I don't get shame, so you can skip that. You can skip that. Okay. That don't even faze me. You know that. You still haven't proven anything, though. But that's okay. I hope I know that you can't prove anything. No, you're not going to come up here, Nathan, because you have nothing to say. We got more money from less taxes. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. And you're going to be paying out more taxes to the rich people, jackass. So the little taxes that you get back don't mean anything, jackass. Boy, some of y'all some of y'all. Lord have mercy. The trade-off is worth it. The trade-off has to be worth it. Unfortunately, the trade-off is not worth it to most of us. Sure, I did fail middle school, Aunt Nathan. Sure, I did. Absolutely, I failed middle school. And the trade-off has got to be worth it. It's got to be. Because otherwise, can I come up and debate what governor of Virginia? You can come up and have your say. You can come up and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't know anything about debating a governor. I don't know any issues about that, what that person is running on. I have no idea. I found out about that person the whole show tomorrow. I don't keep up with those kind of things. I keep up with the presidential and the Senate and the House. You want to debate, you can come up and say whatever you like. Okay? There's the link. Y'all can come up and say whatever you like, long as you're respectful. We don't know what that tard knows, do we? We know you as the tard don't know anything. We know you don't know anything because you scared to hit the link. What do you know? What do you know that we don't know? Huh? You don't know anything. Just like nobody else knows anything. But I do have those polls. I do have those polls, though. I have the polls that show that the tide has turned really, really sharply away from the Republicans. I have the polls that say that. I got all the polls that say that. I ain't got nothing else. I ain't got no high school diploma. I take food stamps. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing. I'm one of them welfare queens. But I bet you I could tell you what I do have. I have the stats that say your party and your president is circling the drain. I do have those stats though. I do have that. We do have that. Okay, they're still doing what they got to do. They still doing what they got to do, but it is so much better. Okay, hold on. Natural, natural. Are you still here? Just say yay or convergence. Oh, you are here. It was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Okay. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for the session to go back in, but the session hasn't went back in, and I gotta get. I'm gonna end this session right now, but because nobody wants to come up, nobody put the link so I can click and join. It won't. It won't let you click and join. What's going on? What's wrong with the natural? What's wrong with the link? I mean, is there something wrong with the link? Am I doing? I thought I was copying. What the heck happened? Wait a minute. And I wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can go back here and see if I. Well, I mean, pin the message. Okay, I pinned the message at the top. I pinned the link to the top. Hey, natural. Hey,
Hey HQ, how are you?
fine. Is something wrong? Ain't nothing wrong with the link, right?
Well, you have to actually copy and paste it into the web browser if you're using your mobile device. It does not allow you to click the link. And I figured since I had a wrench again, that it would allow me to repaste it in the chat so
Mm-hmm.
that it's actually clickable. But
Mm-hmm.
it still is not allowing like to actually click from the chat when I reposted it.
See, I pinned it to the top. I pinned it to the top. It told me to pin it, so I went into the went into the actual studio backstage and I pinned it to the top, so they should be able to click it, and if not, they could just highlight it and put it in their web browser, right? Phrase JJ.
Yeah, they would actually have to copy and paste it into their web browser, but it's still, when you're using a mobile device, it's hard to do that. I had to go to my internet and go to YouTube on the actual desktop version. I
Mhm.
couldn't use the mobile version to get to
Oh, okay,
StreamYard.
okay. Okay, because I know that Ty Pro figured it out. It was Triple X who figured it out. You have to do something in order, because I'm not streaming as a regular. I'm not streaming as the regular horizontal. Okay, I'm streaming as the vertical, but it is what.
Mhm.
So they should know that. They're doom scrolling, so they should know that. Most of them should know that, right?
Yeah, it's just as simple as going to your web browser, though. It's nothing hard. I literally just went, instead of doing it in the app, I just went to my web browser. So.
Mm, okay. Well, they can understand English, but I mean it's okay. They don't want to. No, I want them to come back. You guys come back at 6:30 because I have all of the information. We got the polls. We're gonna go over the polls, and these are facts. But if they're not, what is it? They're not right wing enough. then they don't believe them. So I went and I got right-leaning polls. And the right-leaning polls tell the same story as what the left-leaning polls have told. So it is what it is. So I will end the stream. I appreciate you, Natural KRC. I'm sorry.
I
I
just
appreciate.
reposted it. Is it showing? I wonder if it's clickable now because I just reposted it. I was like, maybe if I'm actually on stage and maybe that'll work, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
Because somebody said they wanted to come up. Okay, great, come up. But you could he uses boost his. I don't know. It is what it is. As I said, I will come back at 6 because that's when I had the show 6:30 lined up for the stats. Because everybody wanted the stats. Everybody want to know. People keep saying no, it's not true, and X, Y, and Z. And I just want to show people X, Y, and Z is true. So it is what it is. And they upset. Of course, they're upset when you have information that contradicts what you think. You get upset, and that's cool. I never crash out, Nathan. I'm sorry, I can't do that. But I thank you for coming up, Natural KRC, and helping me. Your
You are
moderator.
so welcome. I will definitely be back later.
Okay, Herb is talking to you. Why is he talking? Wait a minute, is he talking to you? Well, Herb is always like that. You noticed that, right? KRC. You all leave my moderator alone. My moderator is doing her job. Thank you very much. Posted StreamYard, I blocked that in me. The mod that posted StreamYard, I blocked that in me. Okay, y'all can come back at 6. Come back at 6:30. That's when we're gonna have the stats. That's when we're gonna have the stats. Okay. Yes, I am an EBT abuser. I'm one of those people that be dancing on the stage on TikTok. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. Oh, I figured out the technology. You all haven't. Or you're scared to jump the link, or you're scared to copy and paste the link. But that's neither here nor there. Nobody's going to say anything. It's not a big deal. Just come back for the stats. I will talk to you all later. They've obviously went out on this. What is it? The Senate. They went out. We're just gonna start all over. Come 6:30. Hey, I appreciate you all coming back. Hit the like and the hate button. Do whatever you feel like. You're supposed to hit the like. You're supposed to hit the link. You're supposed to copy and paste the link. Okay. Sure I am, Nathan. Sure I am, Nathan. But you're a zombie. And zombies always talk like you. Zombies always get mad at the ones who are rolling. Always get mad at the ones who's rolling. And I'm rolling, Nathan. Zombie people.